Hi, I'm Charlie Allison, and I'll be presenting on artificial intelligence and automation, the ethical implications, bias in algorithms, and its impacts on employment. AI and automation are changing industries like healthcare, finance, and law enforcement for the better. Ethical concerns, including bias in AI algorithms, transparency in decision making, and job displacement, are potential concerns around AI. Addressing these issues is critical for responsible AI implementation and development. Begin with a look at the bias in AI algorithms. AI systems can rely on data that may have historical biases leading to discriminatory decisions and legal issues, meaning some systems can be trained or basically trained using data that is outdated, um, not recent, and therefore it will lead to discriminatory decisions and therefore legal issues. Um, An example of bias is facial recognition misidentifies people of color more often than those that are not of color. Hiring algorithms have also been shown to favor male candidates. This was because they were trained using um, many candidates that were male. Therefore, it led the system to choose male candidates over female candidates. These biases reinforce systemic discrimination and must be addressed within AI framework. Next, we'll talk about job displacement. Automation is replacing jobs in industries such as manufacturing, retail, and customer service. This is because these jobs offer the most low skilled labor jobs as compared to industries such as technology or something like that. AI improves efficiency but reduces demand for low skilled labor, therefore leaving a lot of the low skilled labor workers without jobs. Many displaced workers lack the resources to transition into AI related roles, whether this be education, funds, just don't have time, or just don't, they're just past the point in their career of learning new skills. This contributes to economic inequality and raises ethical concerns. Next, we'll be going over a SWOT analysis of AI and automation. The strengths of AI and automation are increased efficiency and productivity. It will reduce cost and there will be less error. Some of the weaknesses are obviously the algorithmic bias and the transparency issues, meaning that some of the decisions AI comes to, people won't be able to know how these decisions were reached and will just have to kind of accept the decision as it is. Another weakness is job displacement and economic inequality. Some of the opportunities pertaining to AI and automation are AI-driven job creation, ethical AI advancements, and global collaboration on AI regulations, meaning that internationally we will work together to regulate AI and make sure that it is not used in an improper way. Some of the threats are legal risks associated with AI, which could result from cyber attacks or data breaches, and monopolization is a possibility if one business becomes more advanced or one company becomes more advanced in the AI field than a smaller company, and therefore the gap will widen and it'll never be able to be shrunken again. Some of the solutions to combat these cons would be to use AI bias monitoring systems to ensure fairness. Two, develop explainable AI models for transparency, meaning develop a secondary AI model that is able to explain the decision that's made by the initial AI model in a way that just a normal person can comprehend. Three, continuously monitoring and assessing AI to prevent biases from emerging, meaning to maybe set up an audit each month to make sure that biases don't occur or emerge and to stop them before they even happen. And lastly, companies should offer training programs for displaced workers to transition into AI roles. This will be good for their public image as well as it's just morally right to do so. And lastly, we'll talk about the stakeholders. The two stakeholders we'll talk about are business leaders and policymakers. To begin with, we'll give some recommendations for business leaders. A recommendation for a business leader would be to use bias monitoring and ethical AI frameworks. So to monitor AI systems to make sure no bias occurs and to take the proper steps in implementing AI and developing it. Um, Secondly, they can invest in retraining and reskilling programs. Uh, this is uh, this was touched on the previous slide. It's good for the public image and it's just morally right, and it allows you to retain some of the employees that you might have lost if you chose not to add retraining and reskilling programs. Next, we'll move on to policymakers. Policymakers should establish policies to regulate AI, to make sure that there's just a general rule to follow and a general idea of how AI should be used among the public. Policymakers should also fund research on AI bias detection and explainability, meaning they should spend money in order to fight bias detection, to fight AI bias and to detect the bias before it occurs. And then the explainability model, which allows the normal person to understand how an AI decision was made, whether that be it spitting out a paragraph that is able to explain it, or just yeah, basically just explaining it to a person in a way that is comprehensible to the common mind. And lastly, policymakers should create incentives for responsible AI development, meaning that they should create some like fiscal goal or a fiscal reward that businesses can earn if they're using AI the proper way or the way that is intended to be used. And yeah, that's really it. Thank you for listening.